In 1992, a brilliant young man gave up everything to live free. No money, no rules, no chains. 4 months later, his body was found in an abandoned bus in Alaska. He didn't die because of nature, not really. He died because of what he believed freedom was, and that mistake almost all of us make it. His name was Chris McCandless, and here's what most people get wrong about his story. They think he died from bad luck, a wrong plant, a flooded river, a cruel twist of fate, but that's not it, and that's not the opposite either. He wasn't a fool. He wasn't reckless. Chris was brave. He was intelligent. He did learn the rules of the wild, how to hunt, how to shelter, how to survive alone when most of us wouldn't last a week. His mistake was learning them too fast. He was in a hurry to be free. And the wild doesn't reward hurry. He stepped into a world that demands years of knowledge, and he gave it months. He had courage where he needed time, and instinct where he needed mastery. The gaps were small, but in nature, small gaps are fatal. Because here's what the bus in Alaska taught me. Nature isn't the absence of rules, it's the opposite. Nature is rules. That leaves almost no room for improvisation. The plant he ate didn't care about his ideals. The river that trapped him didn't negotiate. The wild doesn't punish bad people. It punishes the unprepared, even the brave ones, especially the ones in a hurry. And that's the real trap, the one that almost all of us fall into. We imagine that freedom means tearing down structure, cutting every rope, walking away from every rule. We think the fewer the rules, the freer we are. But it's the opposite. The absence of structure doesn't free you. It exposes you. It leaves you standing in front of forces that will not slow down, will not wait, and will not forgive a single gap in your preparation. Chris didn't lack courage. He lacked the time to fill the gaps, and the wild gave him no second chance. Freedom isn't the absence of structure. It's the choice of structure. I understood this in my own life, not in a bus in Alaska, in a place far less wild, and yet just as merciless. A toxic workplace. Let me set the scene. An aeronautics workshop, a small world. The kind where everyone knows everyone and the toxicity is part of the daily air you breathe. And I walked in there with a clear goal in mind, a specific one, a number. Something I needed to reach, and almost immediately I felt the pressure to escape, because when an environment poisons you, there are two exits that look like freedom, and both of them are traps. The first false exit, walking away, quitting. Back then, I didn't shout, I didn't explode, I did something that looked stronger, but wasn't. I quit. I ended the contract. I put a stop to the whole situation. And yes, it relieved me in the moment. It felt like power. It felt like freedom, but it wasn't. Because I lost my salary, I lost professional experience, and worst of all, I lost the chance to gain a deeper mastery over my own emotion. Quitting felt like freedom, but it was just another way of letting the environment decide for me. When you run, you're still obeying the thing you're running from. That's not freedom. That's being a slave to your environment. The second false exit, bottling everything up, swallowing it, saying nothing, feeling everything, and locking it inside. It looks like strength too. The stoic who takes the hits and never flinches, but it's just as deadly. Because when you bottle it all up, you're not in control. The pressure is. You become a slave to yourself, to the storm you refuse to release. So both exits are changed. Run and you're a slave to the world. Suppress and you're a slave to yourself. The real exit is disciplined navigation. And here's what that looked like. First, observe. Watch yourself, watch others, and rise above it. Don't let a single bad moment swallow the bigger picture. Second, act in the shadows like a shinobi. You don't announce your move. You hold the course quietly, and you let the results speak. And third, the most important one, release the overflow, because the anger doesn't disappear. It builds. The mistakes is throwing it at people. The discipline is throwing it into something that makes you stronger. Anger is wood. Don't throw it at people. Throw it into the fire that forges you. For me, The fire was boxing. It was meditation. The places where I could burn the overflow without burning my future. And the small valves. A good meal, a good coffee, a good pizza, because I love pizza, in moderation. Just enough to breathe. And it worked. I stayed, I endured the conditions long enough to actually reach the goal. My BMW got paid off, and with what was left, I did the one thing that made all of it worth it. At Christmas 2024, I took my mother to New York City. McCandless searched for freedom by erasing every rule. He lost it. Discipline is not the opposite of freedom. Is the only version that survives. To be free is to know the rules, the world's and your own. Observe, understand, cut, and act.